Leonardo is the founder and COO, of Questtonó, an innovation design studio with about 22 years of history. With 19 years of experience in delivering results-driven solutions for Fortune 500 companies and startups, we're super excited to hear from you, Leonardo, and hear you speak about behavior, design, and a singular perspective on innovation. So yeah, over to you.
So, yeah, thank you for the introduction. Uh, I believe you can hear me well. I think so.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for the invitation to join this amazing event. I'm really happy to join you. And basically, what we're going to talk is context, behavior, and how to change things, or design. And first of all, I would like to make a statement. We are talking about context, and here's my context. This is a keynote from Brazil. Everybody knows, like, Brazil is a really nice country. We have, amazing things here, carnival. We have a lot of innovation, amazing people. And specifically, I'm talking from São Paulo. It's a 20 million people city. It's huge city with a lot of things going on like crazy, And here I am right now. And we are close to the Amazon right now, on fire. I think everybody knows that in the news. It's sad, but it's true. And especially on that, we have like the worst possible president right now. I think this is important as an introduction in a festival like that. This is the context that we are living in. So basically, my real introduction, my name is Leo Massareli. I'm the CCO and founder of Questtonó. I'm a self-described as a generalist. I really believe on that. This is really important for me. I'm a curious. I believe to make things in really different segments. So since the first beginning of my career and Questtonó, we work in several fields of innovation design, since cosmetics to mobility and electronic devices and everything. So I believe in mix-up and this multidisciplinary approach to problem solving. So this is who I am. Questtonó is design and innovation consultants that help different companies to create amazing experiences. So like I said, we work in different fields. We have 20 plus years old, with an office in São Paulo and also in New York. This is quite amazing because it creates a different perspective for us. We mix these perspectives, and it's all about what we are going to talk today. So my first, before I start to talk about context and all this stuff, I would like to make an introduction. Like, my first moment with design, when I was a young designer, I could say I was like, I felt some kind of jealous about design. On that time, like 20 years ago, when I really started, I have this kind of feeling to look outside Brazil and look for European or USA market and designers and say, hey, these guys are really amazing. I would like to be a designer in Italy right now. And I keep looking for this, products like Italian products, Alessi, or, packaged. And I was so jealous about that. This was so important. How could these guys do that? And myself, in a country like Brazil, I didn't have the right resource to produce things like that. But this changes once a time. And I think everybody has some kind of, click in their life. And my click, what changed my perspective about that and about the context that I was living in, happened just in the beginning of my career, when I get the opportunity to be in the first or my first exhibition, me and my partners, in one of the most important events around the world on that time, that was Salone del Mobile in Italy. So we had the opportunity to take our work on this exhibition, specifically talking this furniture set. And something really amazing happened there. I was there meeting people, different designers, and having conversations. It was my first time, so I was completely amazed to be there. And I got to know an Italian designer. And I sat down and we started to share experiences, and I was showing my work and he was showing his work, and I was amazed, like, oh, I would be joining, I would like to be part of this Italian scene right now, you know? And then he asked me, or he said to me, like, hey, Leo, your work is quite amazing. And even me that who lives here in Italy, work in this industry right now, I can't do what you were doing in Brazil right now. And this message for me was game changer. You know, I said, oh, what you were telling me. This was my click about the context and the power of context to really make change and to really innovate. This was the time that I realized that I'm in Brazil. I have a lot of qualities. I have a lot of possibilities to think or to make the things differently. And especially this furniture was something that makes this change in my life and this conversation with Italian designer. So I think that this was the time that I really start to appreciate our culture in the design field and start to understand how to have a step further on the innovation scene. So it's all about context, and context changed everything. This is what I really believe we need to deeply understand. So we are here to celebrate a unique perspective about innovation. And first of all, as a designer, we know that design is in the word of mouth all around the world. And we need to frame design. And this is the way that I understand design. This is a definition from Herbert Simon. It was, an economist, social psychologist, and a lot more. And basically, he said like that design is, a way to transform situations in a better one. I think this is so beautiful definition. Nowadays, we have so many borders around design, like a UX, a visual designer, product designer. And I believe on the design. I believe on this principle. I believe in this definition. We have the ability to make things better. We have the ability to advance on things. So this is what really interests me to work with, culture and context and trying to make the things differently. So since the beginning of humanity, we are always trying to make the things better. We spend our time to do things. We create tools. We create, process. We are always looking for that. It's really natural from our side. I like to understand human beings in this cycle, adapt and adopt. This is a huge ability we have. We are an incredible machine. We are one of the most flexible machines in the world. We have this ability to adapt ourselves for any kind of situation. And at the same time, we have an incredible capability to adopt new behaviors. It's not so easy, but it happens. And this is what keeps, spinning the wheel of this circle, adapt and adopt. This keeps us evolving. And as a designer, I'm really interested on this cycle. I'm really interested in this evolution process where you can understand and increment, and when you see, you have a completely different scene. Just a quick note here. This is a work, an artwork. Sorry, I don't remember the name of the artist, but I think it's a really nice piece of art. It's a photographer that make a lot of frames of people, And he manipulates some pictures, like trying to show how we are tied together with the context, with the environment, with products and our body. So the idea here, if you look on the image here, like how could our Earth adapt to use our, headphones, our iPhone buds, or even though in the human case that carry on their bags in a band, this is not the best solution as possible, and we are completely adapted on that. So the criticism here is, okay, maybe my shoulder is going to adapt on this situation. So this is the human body, this is the human being. We are an incredible machine, we adapt ourselves, but we can adopt new things and keep this wheel spinning. The fact is that even though we do not consciously know our needs, we still do things. We feel the need and we do things, and in different ways. Like this image here, I love, because we are living in a pandemic world, and the way that people find themselves to solve needs, to solve their problems and wash their fruits, or a guy that wants to make a barbecue and don't have a grill, but he has a shopping cart, and it becomes, his barbecue set. We can go a little bit further, especially, in Brazil, we have a word that we call gambiarra. It's a kind of workaround where people want to solve their problems. They want to do things, and they do things, and they are really creative. People, like I said, is a special machine, and they are really, really creative on those things. So sometimes it's a really strange thing, like this motorcycle or this water sprinkle, I don't know the name. But other times, it's really unbelievable what we can learn and how we could do that. I would take as an example this package from the corn. I think this is so beautiful. And for young designers, maybe we don't value that so much. Not only Brazil, but we could say a lot of other parts in the world, like, oh, this is so simple. My grandma did that. But maybe these are the references, the behaviors that we should be looking right now and get inspired to make it differently. Especially nowadays, talking about sustainability, we are in the eminence of, a really great problem. And when I look for a package like that, I say, man, this is so sophisticated. And I remember myself when I was really young, looking for that, standard. What should be a good design for an European, standard, like heavy, a lot of plastics. And now I look for this and say, hey, maybe this is the future of packing. And this is where it's in my yard. I can look and get inspired and put all over the world. So this is my invitation, and this is what I'm really looking for. So basically, in the practical way, we are talking about context and behavior, but the practical way, and how to innovate, how to create new things and new experience. And I believe we have two different ways to do that. The first one is imposing new behaviors. I think I don't need to describe this image. It's called like the desire lines. It's really clear, like you impose a way that people should walk around. People will not do that. People want to go straight, and it's clear. So it's really difficult to impose new behaviors. I do believe in the second option, like learn with behavior. So approach people and understand that. This is what we call, and all of you know, this is a human-centered design approach. Like, how can we understand that? And the easiest way, of course, is not so easy, but I believe that, like I said, people do things, people act. I think the first moment is, let's go and approach people and understand what they do, how they perform some task. And this is the tipping point. This is, I bring this image of the iceberg because I think it's a good analogy. Like when you pay attention and you observe how people act, you are just scratching the surface of a bigger fan. But it's really important because this is the starting point. And then you can move on for based on what or how you observe people acting, you start to questioning and you start to understand what people need, because people act in somehow, some way, because they need or they want something. And this is really interesting. And when you go deeper in the underlayer, you understand that people need things because they have a belief system in their mind. They believe in things. They have this, they grow up in a culture. They grow up in a context. And this makes this whole ladder to go up into a behavior. So I do believe that we need to start looking and observing how people perform things, how they act. Then we start to understand what they need, and we sum that with the context analysis, that in this case is this deep ocean. There's a lot of things going on deep here. And as soon as you start to deep dive on that, understand, you have a clear picture of what people need. Especially, like I said, people not always consciously know what they need. So you need to discover that slowly. It's not easy, but it's possible. So let's understand more about how context shapes innovation. So I bring here some examples. Everybody knows, as like I said, the context is I'm a Brazilian. I'm here now. It's a really sunny day, and everybody knows we love sun. And we love to go on the beach. We have this culture, and especially we love to get a tanned skin. We love the sun, but we need this. But the fact that we love sun and we love the tanned skin, there is a special thing on that. We not only love the tanned skin, but we also love the bikini line that the sun leaves in my skin. This is something that is appreciated. But we went a step further on that. We love so much the line that bikini, leaves in our body, that we do this kind of thing. It's electrical tape bikini. This is a behavior that started to happen in Brazil some years ago, and it really exploded, in the recent years. People really love the bikini line, and they love so much that they don't want the blur line in their bodies. They want a crisp line. And to do that, they need to make this kind of tape bikini. This is so huge that it evolves. So instead of only black tape, you have colorful tapes. And then you have specialists on that, people that get, how to do this. And people start to create a business around that. So in the right side of the slide, you see an image of a business. People pay to get in a specialist house where, the people set up the tape in your body, you go to the roof and you get sun. And then you are completely happy with the crispy line in your body. This is huge. And this becomes a business. And not only business, but it's a cultural thing that maybe doesn't make sense in other culture. I completely understand. But as we can see, we start to export some of these behaviors. And in the past year, we have in the fashion show of Miami, we have a fashion designer that got inspired by this behavior and this culture. And he created a completely line of, tape bikinis for his work. So I think it's quite amazing how a behavior that started in Brazil in a really special context can spread for other parts. And this is the beauty of innovation. If you know how to decode that and start to make good or interesting thing on that, you can spread this culture. Another thing is about, the fact that when we are, when we are a rich nation, sometimes when, you get a product broken, sometimes it's cheaper to throw it away, And when we are in an underdeveloping country like Brazil and others, it's not easy to throw away a product. You need to fix that. And again, this is a kind of behavior that we could, teach or inspire other nations how to fix better products. This is sustainability, pillars. We don't need to throw it away, especially in Brazil. We have this in the car industry. So what do you do when you have a problem with the surface of your car? Here, we have this experience or a business that, to be honest, I don't have a translation to this, but in the poor translation, it is called here in Brazil, the gold hammer. Because people, they got to learn how to fix the surface with really, really simple set of tools in a really quick, easy, and cheap way to do that. So when you get a problem with your car, you don't need to disassemble that. You don't need to, big deals on that. You got your car in these shops, and specialists do the service for you, and it really works. And again, it's a business. On the left, just a proof of concept, how it works. It's quite amazing. It's quick, and it's astonishing, the results. And on the right side, it's a set of tools really simple tools that people from the years, the experienced years that they created. And this is so important here that it becomes, a business. People get class to do that. People study that, and they become master of that. And Brazil is exporting these talents for different countries in Europe. And, so it's a behavior that we have here that if we understand that, we can reframe that and export this. And one more, when talking about context and how context shape behaviors and how can we decoding that, we can innovate and make things different. Probably here, a lot of you likes barbecue, but what do you have in your mind when you think about barbecue? Probably it's the same kind of image that the majority of people have, like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people, a grill and all this stuff. So, but I bet you have this image here. And this is the way that Brazilians are used to have a barbecue, especially in the south of Brazil, that it has a particular history. On the right side, we have the Gaúcho, that is the South Brazil people. And based on traditions, old tradition, they were used to make a barbecue with the steak on a spit in the ground. And this is really common. They do huge festivals of barbecue with that. And this shaped a whole innovation and behavior around a steakhouse in Brazil. On the left side is how you translate this behavior that you do in the countryside for a restaurant. And this is a reference of a really nice restaurant in New York. There is a Brazilian steakhouse. So what is the deal here? Different of a traditional steakhouse, in rodizio, that is the name that we use here in Brazil, you have different kinds of meats, and the waiters, they get the meat, or the beef in your table, different ones. And you get a slice of the meat. No matter how much you want to eat, you can eat as many you want. And this is really interesting because it's a different kind of restaurant. The beef keeps circulating on the restaurant. It never ends. It's a quite amazing experience. A lot of people that comes to Brazil and go to a rodizio, they got really impressed. Like, oh, besides the fact that the meat is really good, the experience is quite amazing. On the right side is this business that we exported to America, for example. It's called the Fogo de Chão. It's a food chain of Brazilian steakhouse that is all over America nowadays. This is the New York house they have. And this behavior is so nice that it shapes different norms. Because waiters, they keep circulating on the restaurants and offering you meat, sometimes they bother you, and they know that. If I'm on the table and I want to be with my friends and have a conversation, and there is a guy on my side, every 5 minutes offering me meat, it bothers me. So to solve this, there is a common behavior in this kind of Brazilian steakhouse where you have this sign-up. It's a small disc. In one side is green, yes, please. And if you flip that over, you have a red disc that says, no, thank you. So it's a simple experience where if you are in the table with your friends, you just flip for what you want. And waiters, they are trained to, before they reach out to you, they look for your sign-up. And they know if you really want to engage or not. So it's a completely different experience around, barbecue. So I think they are great examples about how context, shape the behavior and how this behavior can inspire us to create amazing new things. So I'm going to jump to some of our works that we did. And I would like to share with you how we use this mechanism of understanding how people do things, what they need and what their beliefs, to offering them a new possibility, and then keep evolving that cycle that I said, adapt and adopt. So I don't know if you know, but Natura is one of the biggest brand in the world, cosmetic brand. I'm really proud and happy to be part of a partner of Natura for more than 15 years, helping them to innovate and make the thing differently. And they are really committed, as in environmental cases, sustainability. They are pioneers on that. They are pioneers on using a package with a refill, a special package with refill. Like they use that like before any other company in the world, like more than 20 years. So they are really committed to that. I invite you to join or to look for more information about Natura because it's really inspirational. And one time they invited us to join a big challenge, and the challenge was they need to create a new brand for their lineup that at the same time should be really affordable for people that has a low income, but we should decrease the environmental impact in at least 40%. And this was a kind of, a green field and a huge challenge because, you were only able to do this kind of, to have this kind of KPI if you really disrupt some things, if you really think differently. And we did our process. This was an open challenge. We were open here to rethink the logistics, the formula, the business model, everything, and the package, of course. And after a huge immersion that we had in all the context, one thing got our attentions. One of the research that we did was trying to understand people behavior, trying to understand how people act with cosmetics. And these are the pictures that I have to show you. We did an ethnographic approach with people that use cosmetics. And what we found was really interesting. As I said, Natura used the refill package for years. But as a refill, that it was designed to be a refill. What it means is I purchase the refill, I drop the content in my regular package, and then I should throw away that package. There is really, really simple package. There is no cap. There is no way to be stand up. It's just to transport, drip or drop the content and throw away. And what we saw clearly in our research and in our observation was that a lot of people, they were using the refill as a regular package. They were okay with that. And their interest was, I want that product because I recognize that that product is really good and I want to join this company. So based on this and in a lot of calculations and maps of environmental impact, we defined that the best situation as possible for that business should be put in the world a brand that used the stand-up pouch as the main technology for the regular package. And it looked like simple like now, but it was the first brand in the world to use a stand-up pouch as, you know, the regular package and not as a refill. And it was a huge success. This is a big brand until now in Brazil. And just to you to understand a little bit, we have 70% less plastic than conventional packaging. You know, it costs 50% less when comparable with comparable products. So it's an affordable product. It doesn't harm the environment. So it's a good innovation. When I see this kind of package, I remember the corn leaf that I just mentioned for you. You know, this kind of thinking, I believe, should be an inspiration for all over the world. Another great example is an LG project that we did. We were commissioned by LG to understand the behavior around young people to the experience of listen music on the streets, and especially in USA and Latin America. And like I said, first moment, let's understand, you know, what they are doing, how they are doing things, how they behave. And we did that. And based on this, we started to understand their need and all, you know, the context around. Trying to be quick here, we understand some differences and some similarities between, you know, young kids in Latin America and also in USA. And basically was, yes, they like the sound powerful. To be powerful is really important. They need to show up, especially in Brazil. The show-off culture is really important. So people like, you know, these speakers that have light, you know. It's important to carry on. So somehow there is a lot of outside event, and I want a portable speaker that is really powerful that I could transport in an easy way. Especially in America, we saw the culture of the hugged products. The hugged products in a way that I have this product and I can throw that on my trunk and it is not gonna harm my product. You know, I feel safe on that. But I want something that is more refined about design. You know, I have a different reference in my mind that makes me want a more refined product. And based on this, we created this product and it's quite amazing. It's really simple that you have this handle that makes easier all this experience that I was talking, but it also creates a kind of exoskeleton, you know, that protects the product that is inside. So you not only make it easier for people to transport that, but to throw it, you know, in any place that is going to not harm your product. So it becomes a global product from LG. We were recognized with different design awards. It's a really smart product, really powerful with lights and everything else. Here, I really like this challenge. We were invited to rethink the laundry area. What happens, you know, what are the jobs to be done in the laundry? And we went to the field to, you know, committed to understand that. And one of the jobs to be done, really special, that we noticed was how to dry the clothes. And what we observed was that there were two different ways that people dry their clothes in the line. So the first in the left is this common way. You have the line, you have the clothes, the t-shirt, and you have the pins. Basically, the most part of people use like this way. This is nice, but this is not efficient. The problem with that is you don't have so many space in your house, and when you use like that, a few clothes you put in the line, you don't have more available space. The second situation that we observed in the field was some people that was really smart, and they were used to dry their clothes in a hanger. And but what we observed going a little bit further was that for majority of the people that dry their clothes in the hanger in this kind of line, because of the tensioning of the line, what happens was that the hangers, they go to the center, and all the clothes get stuck together. And to make it different, the people were used to put the hanger in the line and also put a pin beside the hanger, in a way that it prevents for the hanger to go to the center. And based on this observation and this common behavior, we developed this hanger that I am really proud, because it changed. It's a really simple product, and it changed the way that the things are done in a really easy way. So you not only can dry your clothes in a more efficient way, you can ensure that the clothes is not gonna get stuck together, but you can take this, dried clothes and put in your wardrobe directly. So in the end, you change the whole process of drying your clothes in the line. We worked with Samsung, and they were interested to innovate and develop a TV screen for low-income people in Brazil. And exactly the same thing. Let's go understand people. Let's go understand how they consume TV, how they buy that, what is the reality. And we went to the field, and we observed different people, we talked with different people, and basically, here's the circumstance, here's the context. There are a lot of poor areas around Brazil and São Paulo, slums like this in the left side. Basically, in the middle, you have a picture of electrical infrastructure in these areas. It's a chaos, it's a mess. People start to get, lighting cables and put in their house, and this is really dangerous. And in the other hand, we are in a tropical country, one of the most famous country for lightning bolt, thunderstorm. We have a lot here. You can sum up this, and you can understand what happened. What happened is, basically, a television for a low-income people, it's a very important asset. They spend some money on that, and they care about this. This is not something that you buy, and if it breaks, okay, I buy a new one. It's a big deal for them, so they care about that. What happened is here in Brazil, especially in these areas, is that people are used to, as soon as it starts to rain, people unplug the cable from the wall, because they know that the chance to have an electricity outage and break their equipment is really big. So they have this kind of behavior to unplug the equipment from the wall. And based on this, Reed suggested and Samsung developed a television that has a kind of a no-break system. Something really simple, a smart TV, chip, with a small device inside that prevents, people to get a problem with their product. And the thing here is, you see that how design is a complex thing, because this is a kind of feature in the background that you need to be aware, not only because of the product itself, but also how to communicate that. advantage or that special feature. So it was a big challenge, and we really love how simple it is to innovate and create value based on, behavior and a special context like ours in Brazil. And moving to the final, I let to the end an example of a product that we got involved in the recent months that we are really proud to do that. And it reveals how important it is to understand context, and not only to understand context, but start to look for, 90% of the population that is not in the rich nations. And we have the opportunity as creators, as designers, to look for our context, do things better, and maybe inspire all the world. So we are living in a pandemic. I presume there's people all over the world here in different situations right now. And as soon as it started to hit some countries, and we start to realize that there was a lack of ventilators, we were like really worried about. And Questtonó is a company that has a lot of experience in the healthcare industry. We did a lot of equipment, so we know how to do that. And we got inspired to solve that issue. But here's the thing, talking about context, how important it is. What is the problem here? The majority of the investment in developing health equipments, they are made by rich nations. You can count in your hands like the amount of company that develops this equipment for all over the world. The best equipments, maybe I think there is 30 companies around the world. And the thing is, these products that we in underdeveloping nations use, the majority of them, they were designed by rich nations with their context in their mind. Their context was the focus. And this is completely different from countries like Brazil or India or, something like that. And the fact is, this is not data that I'm bringing here. This is from WHO, and 7% of the complex devices simply doesn't work when they got in developing countries like ours. For simple reasons, because it's out of the context. We have, like I said, electricity instability, like I said. We have a lot of other small things that is complicated. And when we think about ventilators in COVID, we were looking and said, man, we have a big problem here because the majority of the equipment, they are really, really expensive. They are really complex. It's difficult to import right now. And how could we do that? A special equipment focus, in a reality like Brazil, simple and cheap to do. And we did that, and I'm really proud to share this with you. It was a big team that got involved. One of my partners here, Levi Girard, was the guy that really managed this whole team. But we have doctors, really talented doctors. We put together engineers. We put the supply chain. We put everybody in this challenge. How could we create an affordable equipment, simple to use, that we could produce in Brazil and even export? And we did that in a matter of maybe 50 days. It was like a really agile process. We did not only the industrial design, but also the digital, the software development, the UX, the UI, in a way that medicals, doctors, they could use this equipment without so many instructions. It should be easier in a context like ours. It's a war context, like we need to produce that. And this is the equipment. And it can cost, just to give you an example, like 10 times less what a regular, complex product that we import from rich nations here in Brazil, 10 times less. So this product is now under approval from our health, organization. And I think it's a proof of how context is really important for us to develop and to make things differently. So I think you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. And I think we have some time to have a conversation. Thank you, guys.
Muito obrigado, Leonardo. That was fantastic. People out here, I can see from the comments, they really loved your session. And we want to take a lot more questions, but we have also run short of time. So we'll pick up exactly one question as we also have the second panel lined up. So one of the questions, that is up here is from Kanishk Kapoor. And he says, what are a few ways in which you can identify such issues? And as most of them are not very obvious. And I think he's talking around the whole jeito or the Jugaad way of doing things, of frugal innovation. So any suggestions out there, Leo? How do you identify, these issues? They're not really very obvious at all times. The barriers are not very obvious at all times. The solutions are not very obvious at all times.
Yeah, I don't know if I got the exactly the question, but I'm gonna try. Like I said, I believe people do things, and people, they are always trying to do things. They have this common behavior, and when you put yourself in the position of observation, and you start to look carefully, and this is not easy, of course, this is not easy. You start to look for that, you start to you start to understand what's going on. And based on some of this hypotheses, you start to go a little bit deeper, trying to understand what is behind. Like, if people are acting like that, maybe it's because they need this. This isn't a hypothesis. What we do as a design consultants, and what we are doing more and more nowadays, is as soon as we have a hypothesis, we start to create possible solutions, and we start to prototype. When I talk about prototype, I'm talking about half prototype, really half prototype. And as soon as we have this half prototype, we start to engage with people again and share with them these ideas. And it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear when you have a brilliant idea, when you present people like a really half prototype, people open their eyes like this side. Oh, I never thought about that. This is all I need. So on this moment, you have sure that I'm in the right path. They have this need, and I can evolve for the next stage of a project. So this is the way that we do. It's not easy, like I said. You go slowly, you discover a little bit, you have a hypothesis, you prototype and test, and then you evolve. And here is the thing, like I said, human beings are incredible machines. We are able to, adapt and adopt. And sometimes you make things that fail. This is part. And every company in the world, nobody wants to fail, but it's part of the game.
Sorry about that. There's a small confusion out here with the audio. But, Leo, muito obrigado por seu tempo. Thank you so much for your time. We have a lot more questions, and we have a lot more questions coming up. We're going to direct them to your LinkedIn so that people can reach out to you with a lot more questions. And from here, we're going to switch on to our next panel, which again is very, very specific to America Latina. We're going to talk about behavioral sciences. and its evolution, its future, present in a couple of minutes. Thank you so much, Leo, for all the insights and those lovely stories.
Bye-bye, Prakash. Thank you again. I really appreciate and love to join you. And I hope people could engage with me in LinkedIn. I'm here and answer any kind of question, okay? So bye-bye.
Até. Bye.
Até.